surprised that the US President Donald Trump is not in attendance, but we do have an American delegation that is actually here at the COP30. Just as he snubbed the G20 summit in South Africa, the US President has also snubbed this COP30 conference that is happening in Brazil, basically pulling out of the Paris Agreement that they were signatories to. So quite an important COP that is actually taking place this year, Xoli. This basically marks the 10th anniversary since the signing of that Paris Agreement, where a number of countries basically pledged to try and reduce their carbon emission. One of those countries was also South Africa, and we do have the South African chief negotiator just to speak to us. Mr. Kekana, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We know that part of the challenges, especially for the South African delegation coming into this COP30, was that recall of the Minister of Environment and the introduction of a new minister. How has this affected the delegation team in their negotiations?
That has not had any impact at all as far as the negotiators are concerned. But obviously, the former minister, if he was here, he would have chaired one or two sessions, but that is the only thing. In any case, the co-presidency has managed to do a replacement with other African ministers, so we are still on track to achieve the objectives as the country and as the continent.
In terms of those negotiations, especially as a continent, how is South Africa working with the other countries in the continent basically, and what is the position when it comes to the negotiations of the African continent here at COP30?
We work as one, and we always maintain speaking with one voice as a continent. As a matter of fact, on Saturday before we closed for the day, we had a briefing of all African ministers. As you would know, this week is a high-level ministerial, so we were preparing them, both a set of ministers that would be co-facilitating and those that would be representing the continent on the floor. And as you might have witnessed, South Africa was playing a leading role in that briefing and will continue to do that as usual.
It's been a week of the COP. We are at the halfway mark. Any achievements that have been done so far, or are we still bickering as countries?
No, on Saturday we managed to close quite a number of agenda items, successfully so. And of course for the second week, which is a week of governing bodies, we are continuing with the negotiations. It was always going to be like this. We close certain items in the first week and we continue the second week with key priority issues such as global goal on adaptation, issues of provision of finance by developed countries to developing countries, issues of gender action plan. So those issues are continuing this week.
Speaking about issues of financing, especially loss and damage, that's one of the issues that African countries want to hear a lot about. We've seen in South Africa, we've had a lot of floods, a lot of individuals are affected by what is happening when it comes to the extreme weather conditions. Are we getting any closer when it comes to the 1.3 trillion that was actually pledged by the developing countries to develop?
Well, when it comes to loss and damage, you would recall that in Dubai, we finalized the loss and damage fund, and what we've been doing throughout the years to institutionalize that particular fund, and that process is now complete. The fund is sitting with about $800 million. We know this because South Africa was the co-chair of the board of that particular fund, and the fund is now open for project proposals starting in February or March next year. So we're doing quite well, except the money, as you can see, is not what we anticipated as developing countries, but it's a good start.